You know that feeling when you wake up and it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You're trying, you're working hard, but nothing seems to change. Maybe it's that dream job, financial stability, or just being happy with yourself. What if I told you the secret to changing everything starts with one decision right now? Let's talk about how you can make that change, one small step at a time. Most of us have felt it at some point, that moment when everything seems overwhelming. You look at your life, your routine, and ask yourself, how did I get here? It feels like you're stuck in place, even though you're trying, working, pushing, but the results, they just aren't showing. Now, I want you to understand something. This feeling, it's normal. It's human. The good news is, you're not stuck forever. The power to change it all can begin with one simple decision. You don't need to turn your life upside down overnight. You don't need to move to a new city or switch careers tomorrow. But what if you decided, just for today, to make one small change? That's all it takes to start the momentum. Today, we're going to talk about how small steps lead to big transformations. How changing your mindset, setting clear goals, and taking practical actions can completely redefine your life. So, let's start by talking about why we feel stuck in the first place. Imagine this. You're on autopilot. You wake up, go to work, come home, and the routine continues. Day in, day out, it's the same. It's easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere, especially when you're constantly busy but never feel like you're achieving anything meaningful. It happens to all of us. We fall into patterns. We lose sight of what we're working towards, and before we know it, life becomes an endless loop. The dreams we once had started to feel distant. The excitement fades, and we're left wondering, how do we break out of this cycle? It's simple, but not always easy. We need to take back control. The first and most important step to breaking free from this rut is shifting your mindset. Here's the thing. Your mindset is everything. It's how you see the world, how you interpret your circumstances, and how you respond to challenges. It's easy to get caught up in negative thinking when things aren't going well. Why bother? Nothing will change. Sound familiar? But let me tell you, the way you think is shaping your life more than you realize. There's a famous saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's the truth. When you focus on the negatives, when you tell yourself that success is out of reach or that you're not good enough, your actions will follow those beliefs. You'll hold back. You'll hesitate. You'll play it safe. And guess what? You stay stuck. But imagine if you flip that script. What if, instead of saying, I can't, you asked yourself, how can I? What if instead of focusing on what's going wrong, you started looking for opportunities? Example, think about the challenges you faced in the past, small or big. Maybe there was a time you doubted yourself, but you pushed through. That's proof that you can handle more than you think. Every single obstacle you've overcome has prepared you for the next step. Once you've made that mental shift, the next key to breaking free is understanding the power of small, consistent actions. You see, the problem isn't that you're not capable of achieving great things, it's that we often expect instant results. We live in a world of instant gratification, and when we don't see immediate progress, we lose motivation. But the truth is that success doesn't happen in one giant leap. It happens in the tiny steps we take each day. Think of it like planting a tree. You plant the seed, water it every day, and nurture it. You might not see it grow at first, but slowly, over time, it starts to sprout, and before you know it, you've got a full-grown tree. It's the same with your goals. Whether you want to improve your health, build a business, or learn a new skill, it's the small actions you take consistently that create the biggest impact. Example, take something simple, like learning a new language. If you practice for 10 minutes a day, it might not feel like much at first, but after a month, You'll be amazed at how much you've learned. The same principle applies to any goal. Save a little money each week, read a few pages of a book, or work on your craft for 30 minutes a day. Over time, those efforts compound. And here's the thing. Once you start to see those small wins, your confidence grows. It creates a ripple effect. Each little victory motivates you to keep going, to push a little harder, and before you know it, you're making real progress. Now, here's where the magic happens. You've got the mindset that you're taking consistent action, but without clear goals, it's easy to get lost along the way. A lot of people make the mistake of setting vague goals like, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. But what does that really mean? How do you measure that? You need goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, what we call SMART goals. Plan your day, week, and month. One of Jim Rohn's best pieces of advice is, don't start your day until you've finished it. This means you need to plan ahead. Every morning, or better yet, every night, sit down and plan your day. The same goes for your week and month. The more intentional you are with your time, the less you'll waste it. Planning your day isn't about being rigid. It's about creating a blueprint so that even if things come up, you're still moving toward your goals. When you have a clear plan, you'll be less likely to let others pull you off course. One of the hardest lessons to learn in time management is how to say no. We want to be helpful, we want to be liked, and sometimes we feel like we're obligated to say yes to everything. But as Jim Rohn wisely said, don't let your mouth overload your back. In other words, don't commit to more than you can handle just because it feels like the polite thing to do. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about protecting your time and energy for the things that matter. When you say no to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're really saying yes to something that does. Think about it this way. Every time you say yes to something, you're using up time that could be spent on what's truly important to you. If you fill your days with tasks and commitments that don't bring you closer to your goals, you'll look back one day and wonder where all the time went. So, next time someone asks for your time, ask yourself, is this something that will move me closer to my goals? Is it worth my most precious resource, time? It's easy to fall into the busyness trap. You're constantly moving, doing things, and checking items off your to-do list. But at the end of the day, you feel like you've gotten nowhere. Jim Rohn warned us not to mistake movement for achievement. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're being productive. The key is to focus on what Rohn called major time, the time you spend doing things that matter, that move the needle forward. If you spend 90% of your day on minor tasks, things that don't contribute to your bigger goals, you're wasting time. The real progress happens when you focus on the major tasks, the ones that lead to real growth and success. Take a moment to evaluate your daily routine. How much of your time is spent on the things that truly matter? If the answer is not much, then it's time to make a change. So how can you put these ideas into practice? Here are some of Jim Rohn's most practical tips for managing your time. Time blocking. Break your day into blocks dedicated to specific tasks. Whether it's work, exercise, family time, or personal projects, assign a block of time to each activity and stick to it. This prevents time from slipping away into distractions. Daily planning. Start every day with a plan. Before the day begins, know exactly what you're going to work on and when. This keeps you focused and prevents you from getting sidetracked by unimportant tasks. Review and adjust. At the end of each day, review how you spent your time. Did you accomplish what you set out to do? If not, adjust your plan for the next day. Constantly refining your schedule will help you get better at managing your time. Batching tasks. Group similar tasks together and handle them in one focus block. For example, if you need to respond to emails, set aside a block of time for that rather than letting them interrupt your day. Prioritize your energy. Use your most productive hours for the tasks that matter most. If you're more focused in the morning, don't waste that time on low-priority tasks. Save those for later in the day, when your energy dips. Here's the payoff. When you protect your time, everything else in your life improves. You'll reduce stress, increase productivity, and find more time for the things that bring you joy. Jim Rohn said, "Time management is life management." Imagine a life where you wake up each day knowing exactly what you're going to focus on, where you're making consistent progress toward your goals, and where you feel in control of your life. That's the life you can have when you stop letting others waste your time. So, what's the takeaway? Time is your most valuable resource. Don't let anyone waste it. The next time someone asks for your time or you find yourself caught in a distraction, remember, you're in control. Now, here's your challenge. Start today. Say no to things that don't matter. Plan your day before it begins, and most importantly, protect your time, because once it's gone for good. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe for more advice on building the life you want. Remember, every day is an opportunity to take control of your time. Let's make sure we're using it wisely.